Hi, welcome to Hospitality Live with Rupesh. Each week, we feature an industry leader that will share the latest trends and the best strategies to help you grow. Now, welcome your host, Rupesh Patel.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We are live. I see it. We are live. Every week I have an issue with the live. This week we are live. All right, we're connected. Guys, welcome to the show. This is episode number 51. Get that out of there. Guys, welcome to the show. I am excited about this conversation because it's very important to all of us right now as we all go through what we're going through, right? It's up and down every single day. And guys, welcome to the show. Comment, let us know where you're watching from, where you're listening from. There's tons of people on and I'm excited. Guys, hang on one second. Let me pull this off and share this screen. Guys, this is episode number 51. Guess what that means? Next week is 52, and that means 1 year of me doing this. I can't believe it's been already 1 year of me being focused on this one thing that I'm super passionate about. It is hospitality, and it's showing somebody, at least one person, an idea or a concept that can change their business. And today is the same. We're going to show you exactly how to do some revenue management hacks that could change the way you operate and run your hotel. It might change your occupancy. It might change your ADR, which I love, right? And these ladies are super awesome. They have their own show, which is the hotel or the revenue hack show that they do every Wednesday at 1 p.m. and it's Europe time. We'll bring them on in a second, but this week, the topic is Road to Recovery, Hotel Revenue Hacks, 10 ways to create your new guest journey. And what does that mean? We'll talk more about that. Learn new revenue management ideas, discover tips to make you a better hotel manager. We all need that. And then find ways to drive more revenue and profitability. Now, this show is specifically for operators, hotel owners, general managers, DOSs, kind of all over the place. If you're focused on being a GM, this opportunity can help you grow into a GM position. I love that. Almost every week, something that we show or teach that could bring you up to a GM position. I love that, right? Guys, comment and let us know where you're watching from or you're listening from. And I'm going to quickly say where everyone's from. Guys, welcome. Good morning from Houston, Texas. Good morning from Orlando, Florida. Hey, that's where I'm recording this live from. Jacksonville, Asheville, Atlanta, Indianapolis, PA, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Orlando, Pennsylvania, Miami. Guys, welcome to the show. Raleigh, North Carolina. Good morning. Good morning to Devon, Colorado. Sandra from Ireland. Hey, welcome to the show. Edward and Flynn Limited, welcome from UK. I love that. Rita's watching. Ladies, Rita says hi. Dottie from South Carolina and Oklahoma, California. It just keeps going, guys. Comment and let us know where you're watching from. Super excited. One winner is gonna win a $50 gift card today by the end of the show, and maybe I'll have the ladies pick this time, and we'll all watch the comments here below to see who the most engaging person is on this episode. And guys, all right, so every week I talk about a mindset, and let me pull this up really quickly because I think this is super important when we're talking about keeping ourselves going in that experience. And let me share this real quick with you. So I posted this last week, and so far it's gotten 26,000 views and over 1,000 likes. And yes, this is me and my wife in 2002 when we were the hotel manager, live on property manager at the Travelodge. And listen, nothing beats hands-on experience. If you agree, comment and let me know. That is a fact, right? In the hotel business, hospitality, nothing beats hands-on experiences because we were the hotel manager. We lived on property. We woke up in the middle of the night when somebody rang the bell, right? If you've ever experienced that, hit the like button. We did laundry. We did maintenance. Man, there's so many times where we would hire somebody the next day, they would quit, and we're like, oh, great, we're not going out to dinner. We're gonna have to now work the night audit or the second shift, which is 3 to 11, and we've all been there with somebody calls out and you're like, oh great, my entire day's ruined because I had this plan and that plan. And listen, we lived on property, so when we did even hire somebody, guess what? They knocked on our door 24 hours a day trying to ask for advice, or they needed help, instead of now that they might text you, right? And I just love that nothing beats hands-on experience. So thank you so much to the 26,000 people that watched it, and over the 1,000 people that did comment on that post, because I really appreciate it. And if you believe that hands-on experience doesn't count, I'm telling you, ask any GM, you will learn the best ideas, the best strategies when you actually do them yourself, right? And I'm reading the comments right now, and everyone's like, heck yeah, it does mean it's a huge mindset. And so this is my mindset this week. Like, if you want to get into something, get your hands dirty, right? Get into actually learning how to do it instead of just telling people to go do it, right? And I love that you can get the experience, because guess what? You won't know how to actually do it until you actually do it, and then you can train somebody to do it. And I love that. So, you know, if I tell somebody to go dig a ditch, I'm like, I'm going to be there with you, right? And I love that we can do that as leaders, and keep ourselves growing, and then keep our team around us growing. Guys, comment and hit the like button if you do agree. Yes, everyone's saying yes, they do agree. And so many people are on it. Guys, I appreciate this. All right, so let's get on to the show. And guys, this week's episode is brought to you by, let me pull up the banner real quick. It is brought to you by smartguests.com. The winner of the show, and we're going to pick one winner, the most engaging winner person listening, and they're going to win a $50 gift card to smartguests.com. Keep your guests safe with communication tools, marketing tools, customer service tools. Get more reviews with smartguests.com. Guys, bookmark that page after the show, visit it. And thank you so much to Smart Guests for sponsoring this episode. All right, so let me bring on the wonderful ladies of, let me bring them on real quick, and then we'll introduce them. Hey, welcome to the show, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Our topic is revenue management and the hacks that go along with it. Guys, please explain exactly where you're from and what you guys do. I follow you guys on social media, and now I'm following you on Instagram, so I'm excited about that. And watch your journey. You guys all do a live show talking about revenue. It's important right now as we're going through all these changes, all these ups and downs in our market. Let's start with Suzanne, and tell us where you're from and what you do.
Suzanne, you're muted.
Can we hear her? Oh, we can't hear her. Okay, let's go to Burger. All right, let's go to the next person.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. So I'm B. I'm the founder and managing director of my OC, which is a consulting company. So operating from the UK for companies actually based a little bit anywhere. So Europe and North America, Central America. So we help hotels optimize revenue.
Awesome. And how do you say your name? Because I'll just hack it right now if I say it. How do you actually?
Real one is Béranger, that's French, but you can just say B, that's perfect.
B, I like it. All right, good. Let's go to Olga.
Hi, my name is Olga Sommer. I'm a revenue specialist with experience working in a sort of large corporate hotels. To name a few will be Hilton, Accor, Millennium Hotels and Resorts, but I also worked in a sort of standalone boutique hotel in Mayfair. So kind of seen both worlds. You're talking about hands-on experience. I had my fair share of duty manager shifts covering sales departments, F&B as well. And I just started a new job as director of revenue for Noble Portman Square. So I'm on a building. I may have some billers coming, and I have my hard hat with me as well. So. And apart from that, I'm also a mentor and St. Julian scholar and committee member.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, Christina.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. So my name is Christina Rich. I'm Group Revenue Manager for a company called JMK Group here in the UK and Ireland. We've got a number of properties, including one Hampton by Hilton just after opening today in Ealing. So it's all very busy. And before this, I was actually a Revenue and Systems Manager with Best Western head office in Phoenix. So experience pretty much all over the world.
Awesome. And Ali, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm Ellie Northfield. I'm the Managing Director of Revenue by Design, and I'm based in London, the UK. So we provide the revenue management, the hotel industry with the revenue management outsource solutions. So basically, I have a team of revenue managers working for me, and we become the revenue management arm of our clients. So that's the primary thing that we do. We also do some training. So we have an accreditation. So if people want to get serious about really recognizing their skills in revenue management, we have that accreditation, which is just about to be launched online in middle of September.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Suzanne, can you hear us?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Fabulous.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Williams. I'm based in Cheltenham and work for Journey, which is a luxury marketing and tech agency. So we have hotels all over the world. I look after a team of revenue managers. We oversee digital, social, and the optimization of the total channel mix for all of our hotels.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. Ladies, I'm super excited. All right. Is revenue management important right now? Is it really important right now as we're seeing all these changes? And what does the journey look like? Because it's not like it was a few months ago, 6 months ago, right? It's totally changed on the way the booking patterns are, the way guests are booking, guests are finding us. A lot of hotels cut their budgets in marketing, so they can't even be found through ads. So this is an opportunity for us now, especially here in the United States, where our kids are going back to school. Occupancy may drop. Our summer travel is kind of coming to the end here in the next month or so, and now we go into our slow season. So we need these hacks to kind of keep going through our shoulder season and then through our slow season. Why is it important right now?
Well, it's super important, actually. That's why we also started with WHTT. So that's how we all get together, and I've created this show, Revenue Hacks. So you can all check actually on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's a big topic, and we need to make sure that people are more aware of the different tips that they can get and the extra revenue they can make with revenue management.
Right, and it's women in hospitality and travel tech. That's your group.
Women, but not only for women.
We're inclusive.
Awesome. Any other tips as far as why it's so important right now as far as focusing on revenue? In the past, we didn't focus on revenue as much because guess what? We were running high occupancy and it didn't matter. We said, you know what? We're going to take the highest rate. We're not going to discount. We're not going to be a part of specials. We're not going to be a part of these rates that could drive our ADR down. And now we're like, oh my God, we need all these different channels to survive, basically, right? And so why is it also important? Anybody else want to comment?
Yeah, I think that what's really important right now is that you have when there's an audience out there and you're struggling for occupancy, you have to attract multiple guest types. So in order to attract the multiple guest types, you need multiple strategies and multiple price points. A lot of hotels have been so precious and conscientious of their brands, but actually right now, when you've got distressed inventory that you want to shift, make sure that you're open and appealing to multiple audiences at different price points, and that's done through really clear, precise revenue management strategies.
Okay. And how often should hotels be looking at their revenue? I know in the past it was like set it and forget it because we're so busy, or we'll look at it once every week or two. We'll talk about it on a Monday. Is it now we focus every single day, Christina? You're muted.
You're mute, Christina.
Sorry, you can see by the shock on my face. You're saying you're only looking at revenue once a week. I'm like, what? What?
There are hotels right now. There are hotels right now that look at the revenue, maybe set it and forget it for a month and not even look at it because it's the same rate, it's the same room, they've kind of gotten used to this pattern and now it's totally changed. So we need these hacks.
I think for sure, if you're looking at your revenue on a weekly basis or even on a monthly basis and just forgetting about it, then you're not doing the important things that you need to do to be able to capture that business and to know what's going on in your market and your area. There's a lot of hotels and motels that do actually stick with one static price. And that works for certain markets. However, now you need to be dynamic. You're coming out of a pandemic. You need to be able to make some sort of revenue to be able to actually drive it. We would recommend to everyone to be looking at your revenue on a daily basis. Look at your segment mix at least once a week. If not, then do it twice a week if you can, and know where that business is coming from, and also watch what the competitors are doing. But don't be so fixated on your competitors, because again, it's all down to value for pricing at the moment with your customers. Your customers want to pay the best price for the best room, which we all know, but at the same time, you can't lie to your customers. It's all about safety, cleanliness, and you need to be able to gauge that expectation versus the cost.
Right, and Olga, if you can help us kind of understand the tech side of things when it comes to our revenue, because some hotels don't even have any technology behind their revenue. They're just like, oh, I see our neighbors are charging this rate because I searched them on Google, and now we're going to charge the same thing because I don't have any other resources. And Olga, can you share some tips on how hotels can get started with this when they don't have a clue?
Well, if they don't have anything in place, it might be a little bit tricky, but ideally to have reporting systems in place that talk to each other. If we really go to the basics, at least understanding what are the markets you're working with, what is the strategy for those markets. It may be quite simple, but you need to be quite clear on that, what your offering is. And have a strategy for each segment. I think it's really going back to the conversation why the revenue is so important. There are so many changes on a daily basis. What are about air bridges as well? So the changes that are happening right now in the world directly impact the business. So it's not something you can look at on a weekly basis. I think it's something ideally to have a person or several allocated. It's business. It's really changing. You need to be dynamic. The booking window has changed from 0 to, we're talking right now, booking pattern is 7 days, so 0 to 7 days. The customer journey has changed completely, so all of that, and you can plug in technology to every single that point. There are so many right now tech support you can get, but have some basics right, and get the basics right. And the customer journey is very different to what we had it in the past before pandemic. It's much longer. There are much more touch points. The customers might visit your brand website 8 to 9 times. So therefore, at least getting that brand website, getting it right is super important, because there are so many unanswered questions like, around the policies, protocols, health and safety. Are all the facilities are open or not? How do they work? So, and you need to be able to answer all of those questions. And yes, there will be some direct bookings, so telephone calls and emails, of course, as well. But try to cover all of that through technology as well, or whatever, and obviously different platforms. So that's very brief.
Right, and how, and we're talking about hotels that do not have a single thing. I talked about this in past shows where they have to update their FAQs. They're frequently asked questions with what's going on right now. So, reach out to your front desk team and say, hey, listen, when hotels are or when guests are calling you, or they're at the desk checking in, what questions are they asking you? And maybe get your team together, say, listen, everybody come up with 5 questions, that the most asked questions, and let's put those 20 questions that we kind of compiled together into our updated FAQ page. And that really converts people when they're shopping, because I think right now everybody's shopping for the future. They're shopping for next year. And so it's not like, oh, we're doom and gloom and there's going to be no travel. Like, I'm on the positive mindset ever since this thing started. Like, we are going to recover 100%. We're going to recover. It may take some time, but those hotels that have done all of these things, all these right steps, are going to be the first to recover and the fastest to recover, or they're already at a better revenue or a better occupancy than they were a few months ago, right? Because they didn't just wait for the entire city to do it. They were the first ones to do these different things, right? As far as update your videos, update your pictures, update your descriptions, show that you care, right? Implement all these safety and procedures, and then show your guests that you're doing it. And that all goes back to, I feel like, revenue management when we're talking about trying to convert them into an actual booking. And Ali, if you can explain kind of that whole journey as far as guests looking online, and then how to kind of convert them into a booking. Are there strategies behind that as far as revenue management and hacks?
For sure. I mean, certainly we have to remember that guest expectations are completely different now, and guests are really super uncertain about whether they can travel. And particularly in Europe, where we have a lot of travel bridges that are being open and closed, we've had situations where people have been leaving on holiday from here to go to Spain, for example, and that guest journey has been completely interrupted because governments have imposed restrictions on people coming back and they have to self-isolate. So the idea really is, as Olga said, basically the time between people wanting to research their travel and the booking date is much more is extended far more than it was previously. So there's a fantastic opportunity for using technology to really to respond to anybody that's come onto your website, made inquiries, and really engage them prior to the stay date, and indeed during that booking process. In terms of pricing, I think we just need to be super careful in terms of converting guests. That the challenge is now we're in a really competitive market, so everybody's out for whatever demand they can get. And to your point, Rupesh, there is going to be this, everything's going to fall off a cliff as soon as people get back to work and back to school. So the challenge is that we need to keep hold of our value proposition. What are we worth in the market? And basically try and bridge the gap between the market pricing at the moment and your value proposition, and try and hold on to that value proposition as much as possible. So it's a question of really driving the ship, if you like, in a considered fashion, recognizing what consumers want in terms of a good price, but also not losing your reference price or your value proposition to the guest. In terms of converting, the real conversions at the moment are being able to respond to guest security challenges, which is a lot around hygiene. If you imagine you're going to a new place, somewhere you've never been before, imagine how you feel about that journey. What is the airport going to be like? How many forms do I have to fill in? What happens at the hotel? How do I get to the hotel? What am I going to be exposed to on the way? So if you can get all those messages out and clearly signaled, then your chances of conversion are a lot higher than they would have been previously.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So guys, before the end of the show, we are picking a winner. And I noticed that Suzanne had dropped out. She is having issues with her internet connection, and I totally understand that because I've had my own share of oh, there she is. Hey, welcome back to the show. Listen, I've had my share. Week before the show, I was talking to the lady saying, hey, listen, my kids are in the background playing 100 video games, and I feel like I have 50 kids in my house right now, driving down the internet. But so I understand. Thank you so much for coming back onto the show, Suzanne. And all right, so let's get into and guys, don't forget, we're giving away a $50 gift card. So the person with the best comments is going to win this $50 gift card. And then please comment, how often do you actually look at your rates? Because that'd be interesting for all of us to understand, maybe what city you are and then how often you look at your rates. For us, we look at our rates every single day, maybe a few times a day based on our occupancy. In the past, we've done the same thing. Now it's just being more strategic on what channels we actually close out on or limit or restrict, or we also put in some MLSs. It's all over the place depending on what's going on in the city and what our occupancy is. And guys, I would love to look at, all right, so let's just comment real quick. And all right, so Nicole says several times a day. Please comment and let us know where, how often you guys actually do this, and we'll continue. All right, so let's go on to the show now, or the top 10. And we talked about top 10. All right, so these are the top 10 hacks, revenue hacks that you guys are going to share, that you guys have given me. And I know a few of these, but I'm interested to learn about the first one, like the guest expectations. We've already talked about it. They are expecting what now? Anybody want to pick this?
They're expecting, I think, just to reframe kind of what we said, they're expecting a really safe customer journey. They're expecting pricing that is reliable and consistent. I think the concept of changing rates multiple times every day is something that makes guests feel really, really insecure at this kind of time. They need to have a pricing strategy that has integrity and not be in a position where they looked at a hotel room 5 minutes ago and it was X price, and then 10 minutes later it's something different. If you're really trying to make that commitment to the hotel, then respond as a revenue manager with a level of, at this point in time, with a level of integrity in your pricing that makes sense, that you're matching the market, you're not overpricing too much, and essentially meeting the requirements of this level of uncertainty.
Right, but would you actually recommend hotels close out certain allocations to different, maybe OTA channels, as far as once they close out or once they see this certain occupancy that they don't want that lower rate? and some of those things, or instead of just changing the rate, because it doesn't make sense to just change the rate extra $20 or pounds, right?
Changing a rate is just really the end of a strategy. It's not the beginning, certainly.
Right.
In terms of the levels of occupancy we're achieving, you just need every channel that you can get right now, in terms of making sure that you're using them in the best way and most intelligent way possible. So taking advantage of things like the relief programs from OTAs is great if you've always had a big OTA channel. If you haven't and you've got a great direct booking channel, then just use that. But make some sensible decisions, definitely.
Okay. And what number two is...
You need to be really careful of your... Sorry.
Go ahead.
You need to be really careful of your segmentation, because that's really when, and I think it is falling into number 3 actually, but you need to be really careful because you cannot just open the tap to everything. You need to think a little bit more long-term. So don't fall into the OTA path if this is not your long-term strategy, or at least don't sign up for all the different programs that they're trying to set up now, because some may actually harm your business more than anything else.
All right, B, actually, let's go into that. We'll come back to the guest shopping path. B, if you can explain segmentation and how that how hotel owners and managers should be thinking about segmenting their business as it comes in, and leisure versus corporate. Right now, there is a little bit more long term. Hang on. All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
As you know, corporate is kind of dead right now for the most part. How do you segment that stuff and kind of explain, B?
So some corporates are dead, but not all of them, actually. I think it's about looking at the right corporate business. So we all know that the big tech guys, like the likes of Google, etc., are not going to travel until summer next year. But you have pharmaceutical, for example, or some building companies, etc., that are still traveling. So I think it's about rethinking the business mix that we have, and also in terms of corporates, and trying to tap into some specific industries that may still need to travel or do conferences like that. So that's quite important not to completely lose this one. Similar, I've got some people in the US where we can see that there's not necessarily a need to drop the rates. The corporate contracts are not asking for a drop. Maybe it's going to be stay flat to 2020, and maybe put some more dynamic rates, for example, in place. But yeah, we need to be careful not to completely destroy our 2021 by slashing the rates and do the kind of mistake that some hotels have done in 2000, for example. So that's the corporate side, and leisure. I mean, we've seen it everywhere that there is a bigger demand in leisure, especially now during summer and weekends, etc. Some hotels are full, actually, which is great, because like not even 1 month after opening, this is full, and that's where we need to, well, sometimes still be selective, actually. You can still put some restrictions. You can still accept some specific business and some others. And then it's how do we attract a different type of leisure business? Because probably as a hotelier, we haven't looked at every single type of leisure business. So it's how do you transform your mix and try to optimize better in the current world.
Right. And how do I understand my mix in general? Like, I don't know where my mix is. Like if hotels don't understand where their mix is coming from, how do I understand the mix between business and leisure?
I think it's about making sure that you have the right segmentation. So it's about having like a proper detailed rate plans, for example, and then making sure that you're putting your segments into specific buckets. You cannot put your bar. What is bar? Bar is dead. Like, it doesn't exist. You need to think about your distribution, for example. That's quite important. So data is super powerful, and that's where your revenue managers are here for. They're here to crunch the data and make you understand where the business is coming from.
Absolutely. All right. So let's go to number 4 now. And the number 4 hack is groups. Who can specialize in this group out of you 5 ladies to talk about groups? And okay. How do we get groups in right now when I feel like there's no convention space or there's no meetings going on? Are there still groups? And I know there are groups because I've seen a few groups, actually a lot of groups, having small meetings or socially distanced meetings. So what's a hack for when we're talking about groups coming into our hotels?
Yeah, so the groups market segment is changing. We'll see very different groups. Similar to large corporate accounts, we're not going to see large groups staying with us until we see further, are they having cure for COVID-19, or then, and of course, travel restrictions need to be eased off and lifted. So I would focus right now, or we're seeing still demand for smaller groups. So that will be hybrid meetings, and that could be still corporate. Also, what to add to what Berenger already mentioned, there is still, so we have seen the rise of staycations. And in terms of corporate business, there is still domestic corporate accounts and business still in place, and there is still opportunities to grow that segment. And we're seeing sort of smaller groups, and that will be social events and smaller corporate meetings as well. So there are still opportunities in that segment. It will be just different. They might be staying for shorter periods of time, 1 or 2 nights, and it will be maybe 10, maximum 20 rooms, because it's all, of course, down to restrictions and so on and so forth. But it may not be large events, but the demand still remains there. So targeting those groups together with event space, maybe it's utilizing the bedroom or suites to accommodate, it could be family gatherings, because we know one of the first reasons why people would want right now to travel is to see friends and family. So it might be a combination, let's say 3 rooms and a private dining room, that sort of thing. So it's maybe creating additional packages, and that's additional value that guests will appreciate and feel safe and secure in outside their homes.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guests asking for connecting rooms more now than ever before, because they want to stay close and they don't want to be in the hallways running around trying to go to the elevator, trying to find their family member in the next room or down the hallway. So I think connecting room, when we're talking about this group business or we're talking about families traveling, I think is excellent when you can have a package saying this is actually a connecting room, especially if you have low occupancy. You can make that to 1 room, right, as a big suite or something. So I think that's definitely valuable right now. All right, so let's go to number 5. And it's the business mix evolution, reshape. What does that mean? Anybody? Christina?
Yeah.
We can't hear you. Hold on. Can you hear us? Hello, hello, hello.
The business, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm used to myself again. So the business mix evolution is, how your business mix is changing. So you're watching everything. As B touched on in regards to segmentation, if a hotel doesn't have the correct segments in place, then you're not able to track where your business is coming from and be able to see where the peaks and troughs are, to be able to actually either increase your rate or close out certain OTAs or certain websites that you're working with or partners. We've seen business mix in particular in Ireland and in the UK and across Europe change drastically, where some hotels would have been mainly corporate that are now looking into leisure markets. Some hotels were leisure and now they're exploring different types of leisure, be it, active retirement groups or additional leisure groups, or weddings, as Olga said, small little events. So it's about being able to see that mix happening as it's coming in. If you don't know about segmentation or about how to set your rates or how to set your segments or build anything, we have a YouTube episode actually done on this. So look at our past YouTube episodes. We have all that stuff covered. And if you've got any questions, you know where we are. But it's so important that hotels see that. They see their business mix evolution come in, because you can't price yourself adequately. We've seen a lot of your comments coming in as well, that people are saying they've set dynamic rates for this year, but leaving 2021 flat. I don't understand why you'd leave 2021 flat, because it's going to be an exceptional year. A lot of our business has been moved into 2021, in particular in Europe. So any groups that would have happened this year, we've been able to retain that group and move it into next year, which of course has actually increased that group segmentation a lot. So now we're actually in the case of looking into leisure and looking into every other way that we can maximize our revenue to be able to protect our business at the same time.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. All right. So number 6, sixth hack is distribution and long-term not failing in reaction decisions. What does that mean when we're talking about which channel should we actually distribute our rooms into, and how do we pick?
I think it's doing knee-jerk reactions when it comes to rates, for sure. It's about testing everything. knowing for sure where your market is biting. And it's not saying just because we're not picking up rooms today, we're going to slap a 3-for-2 offer on because our brand is telling us to do it. And I know B has more on this distribution side. That was just my part in the race.
Yeah, B, please explain this as far as distribution. And yeah, some of the brands are saying, hey, we should go do this because you're going to get it. But sometimes it doesn't make sense for you to kind of incorporate or get yourself into that deal, because sometimes for your hotel it doesn't make sense like maybe other markets or other areas. Kind of explain the distribution side of selling rooms.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's quite important first to know your distribution. Like there's so many hotels that still have not a proper overview of where they are and how are they distributed. And then, so the question on parity still needs to be on top of people's mind, because if you start being not on parity, you're starting slowly but surely losing on your direct business also. And I'm not saying direct business is for everybody. OTAs are great for plenty of stuff, but you need to make sure that you're thinking long term. And as Christina was saying, like, look at your data and make sure that you're not falling into the easy way, or marketing is telling me, or my MD or the stakeholders are telling me like we need to sell, and then I'm doing a special offer. Are you going to sell more of this 3-for-2 than actually already 3-night stay that you would sell anyway without the discount? So it's about really looking at where do you do specific promotions, because that's what people need and that's what they want or expect, or that's where you can attract more people, and distribute it in the right way. So whether, as Ali was mentioning, like the special programs from Expedia, for example, Agoda is trying to launch something also. It may be good for your business, but let's keep in mind it's not good for everybody. So you need to make sure that you analyze it fully, and it's not only for the upcoming months, but that may have an impact on like the more long term, depending on the lead times that you have.
Okay, number 7, the 7th hack is test and learn. Now, I love testing different channels as far as marketing, as far as distribution. I try to test it just to make sure it works, and if it doesn't, hey, we tried it, so it's not in the back of my mind saying, hey, we should have tried that 6 months ago. And I always look at it that way especially when it comes to marketing. And marketing and revenue management kind of go hand in hand. We're talking about distribution, and right now hotels might have canceled their marketing budget altogether, and we didn't. We looked at our market and said, all right, we looked at our numbers and said, where is our business coming from? And let's double down on some of those strongest channels. One is Google. Hey, don't just cut your Google ads, double down on them, especially if you see a great conversion into booking, and they might even be the higher rate, right? Which they're booking directly with you. I love that we can continue doing those strategies, and that's all part of distribution and kind of marketing when we're talking about revenue management, right? All right, so number 7 is test and learn. What does that mean? Suzanne, let's go to Suzanne.
You?
Can hear you. Yeah, we
Hello?
can hear you.
Can you
Test
hear me
and
now?
learn, Suzanne. What does it mean?
I think that when you're in periods where there is distressed inventory and low demand, you have to try and bring as many guests through the door as possible. So it's ultimately about driving sales, and revenue management then helps you manage that driving sales. So when you want to explore a new segment or a new distribution platform, you might want to give some inventory to a tour operator, you might want to try a new channel, then put the price out there and watch to see what happens by checking daily where your sales are being impacted across the next 365 days. So I guess that's, for me, that's where I know each day for my hotels, where we put something new out, it's something we've discussed, it's part of a strategy, but we watch it every day. And if it works, fantastic, but we watch to see where it hits and which audiences. So that's the test and learn theory. It flows through to marketing. You split test your marketing, you split test your offers and products, test to see what's going on and what then comes through as a sales conversion.
Okay, thank you. All right, so number 8 is forecast budget. Now next week we have David London talking about, are budgets even necessary for hotels right now? And it's budget season now, coming up in the next week or two, or even the next month, where you start creating your budgets for next year. And a lot of hotels are like, well, maybe zero as revenue for next year. We don't know. And so next week we are going to talk with expert, hotel financial expert, David Lund, right here on the show. And we're going to talk about budgets, but how do we forecast when we're talking about the future of our hotel? Like, what do we look at? 90 days, 30 days, 7 days? Like, typically we had an Excel, we had this whole spreadsheet of a year out. Every week we talk about this special events that happen for the next 365 days, maybe even a year and a half out. And now we're like, are these events even happening? So how do we really create a forecast, or how do we really forecast out that far? Anybody? Allie? Yeah. Oh, hold on.
So, thank you for taking me off mute. I think in terms of forecasting, it's still very valid to look at 365 days ahead, because there's going to be a lot of business that moved from 2020 to 2021, and ideally at the same rate, at least the same rate that you got in this year. I think it's also what we're seeing a lot of is that hotels have had to deal so much with cancellations that often it's the groups that got missed, and so we're still looking at groups that haven't washed properly in terms of the rooms that we're expecting. So in terms of group wash, you just need to be super careful that you've really cleaned up those groups. Try to move them wherever possible. So in terms of forecasting for 2021. That should really be done, because you really want to capture as much demand as you can right now to recuperate losses. But also remember that you might well be walking into a constrained environment next year because you've accepted so much 2020 business. In terms of forecasting right now and budgeting, we are operating on for the next 60 to 90 days. We're operating on a break-even point budget and understanding where profitability kicks in. So that's just to say right now that might be more helpful for you to understand your break-even point and to make sure that you know whether you're making a profit. And then David can say the rest.
Yeah, he has a whole list of things that he wants to share with budgets, because a lot of hotels don't even have a budget right now. As we're talking about COVID and we're talking about trying to survive through this thing, and property taxes in America are coming up here in the next. Our bills are going to be in our mailbox in the next month, and they're going to be due by the end of the year or early next year. And a lot of hotels are scrambling to find how they're going to pay that property tax. And our good friends at the American Hotel Lodging Association are fighting for at least the hotels in the United States, and hopefully that translates into Europe and other countries, that we get some relief when we're talking about trying to save our hotels. Because I have messages come to my inbox every single day saying my hotel is permanently closing. Like, they just laid everybody off. Do you have a job for me? And I feel really bad and horrible that this is happening. And so budgets are going to be a huge part about it. Forecasts are definitely a factor when we're talking about trying to keep our doors open.
One final point. Just there's been a few questions regarding new KPIs and cost of cleaning, and should we incorporate that into our understanding? And I think the answer to that is yes. If your cost of cleaning is increased and your room costs have increased, so you need to understand where you're meeting your variable room costs. So that would be a yes from me, just very quickly.
Yeah, and your F&B costs might have gone down. You might have to translate those into your cleaning costs, because they have gone up with all the new standards and the upgrades that you've done in the room and things that you're giving to the guest, right? All right, so that's number 8. Now we have 2 more, and guys, don't forget the most person. And I think I've already picked a few people that have been in the running now. So I got to pick between these 2 folks. And ladies, have you been reading the comments?
Trying to.
A lot of great comments, guys. Comment if you have a question for the ladies, and they're happy to answer. And if we can't get to all of them, we will definitely come back after the show and answer those questions. All right, so number 9, and I think this goes to Olga. It is technology, and we're talking about CRM and CRS. Now, tell us the difference between CRM. I know, but tell us the difference, and how does technology play when we're talking about a revenue hack?
That's not a question I expected, but never mind. Actually, before I forget, we were talking about digital, and for me, in terms of technology, it's imperative that systems talk to each other and interact. I don't know how much we can stress out about it, but it's crucial. And it's also about, for example, right now being on a new property, Also looking at F&B, for example, how many systems still don't interact, and without proper tracking, I mean, that is a huge manual workload creating. That's one issue which we should be all right now kind of reducing, because it is less workforce, we have smaller budgets, but also it's just that not being able to track properly, as what already ladies mentioned, in terms of, you know, targeting markets accurately. Otherwise, you're just not going to get return on your investment. And I really like, Rupesh, what you said about, you know, moving that markets or moving budgets from the targeting specific markets. For example, conversations yesterday with GDS providers, their market for London 92% down year on year. So that's, you know, that is definitely right now possibly, you know, take that budget and spend it on the markets that potentially can bring more revenue short term. And yes, you can switch on right now your GDS campaigns later on when there will be potential. In a short term, you know, invest that money elsewhere, and that potentially is Google. It's your direct channels, it's a brand website. And I do believe this right now we have a great opportunity to get more direct business, because even if customer looked at the properties through online travel agency, but if your brand website offers something fantastic and you have great customer journey, you have all the information, great packages, I think there is a greater, you know, there is a much better chances that the customer will book with you direct rather than going to back online travel agency where there is, you know, less personalization, etc. So I think there are, you know, opportunities how it can be all linked together, really.
Yeah, so it's really keeping it high touch and low touch at the property, right? It's also customer service. It's your guest experience that when they come in, and you have to share those when we're talking about technology. And technology could be something simple as just really awesome ways of checking people in, or that robot that might cost a few $1,000s or $20,000 that could really change the way a guest feels about their safety and security at your hotel. So it's not just cleaning your hotel, but people feel safe. Like, oh, they have a robot that's cleaning the air around me, and people feel really comfortable with that. So that's like marketing, revenue management, in technology, right?
So interesting. Another stats is Four Seasons. Their app, customer journey app, has increased on the download 75%. That's a huge. And
wait, say that one more time. Say that one more time.
So Four Seasons, they have a customer journey app for check-in, checkout, etc. And they have seen an increase of 75% for the downloads of that app. But so there are companies who right now will invest in those less touch points for customer journey will be right now the winners. But I still believe that you need to cater for all markets. And if someone wants to have something physical like a brochure or business card, I think we shall still need to have that as well. So to make sure that customer journey is seamless, whether it's online and offline.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we have one more. All right,
can I just add?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add one thing to Olga's point about the CRM and how you use it. Coming back to B's point about distribution, if you're looking at distributing all your pricing to attract as much occupancy as possible, your CRM can really bring up the rear and make sure that when that guest walks through your doors and you deliver that exceptional customer experience, you use your CRM to make sure that they come back to you direct the next time they stay. So the distribution and the OTAs are important for the billboard effect and giving your hotel visibility, but then use your CRM wisely to come up the rear, deliver the exceptional experience, and bring them back direct. So that's, for me, the power of a CRM.
Yeah, what's your favorite CRM? What are you guys using?
I love Salesforce. I'm a Salesforce girl.
Okay. Wait, we should be calling in the hotel business GRM, guest relationship management, right? All right, good. Yeah, Salesforce is super popular. They've done a great job with their marketing. They've done a great job with their product, right? It's a lot of hotels do use it. All right, so the number 10 hack that we have now, we've gone through a bunch of them and we've written down notes. If you've written down at least one of these ideas, comment and let us know that you have. And has this panel been valuable to you? Guys, please comment and let us know that you're still watching this and this is valuable to you. Number 10 is digitalization of that guest journey. And that includes a CRM. That includes the ads that you post on Google and other channels, right? Even on an OTA channel, you still might have that travel ad, right? Who's going to pick the number 10 spot as far as digitalization of that journey?
I think it should be Suzanne, because her company is actually specifying in this on a daily basis and she heads this up. So definitely Suzanne should cover this one.
Boom, let's go.
Okay, no pressure on that one then. Thanks, Christina. There's a couple of things about the guest journey and the digitization of it. There is a CRM aspect in understanding, linking back to your forecasting, identify the gaps, and then targeting through your CRM very niche audiences with the right price point for higher sales conversion. So that's one strategy that we adopt every week when we're looking at our hotels. When we see the gaps over the next 12 weeks, we make sure that we use the CRM system to target and personalize the content, bring in digital to make sure the ads are personalised, and that brings in higher sales conversion. So that's the first thing. The second thing is about the tech side of life. Now, the hotel website, by and large, hotel websites could be improved. If you keep your brand messages on your website linked to what's happening with your demand and your sales messages, pull them together and keep that website agile and dynamic, then you're going to get higher sales conversion coming through there too. But I think the biggest thing for me is about the customer experience is when you've got multiple offers, you've got a spa, you've got a restaurant, you've got rooms, you've got gift vouchers, all available in your property. There isn't a platform yet that can pull all those things together and give you a more personal retail-like experience. And that, I think that from the hospitality, we fall behind a little bit. So we're working on that, and that's something that will come out the second quarter of this year as a tech company. But hotels have to be more innovative about how they deal with pulling everything together. It's one picture. When the guest lands on that site, they need to be able to see everything. Make sure that your ads are personalized, linked through to the website, that customer experience and that tone of voice is delivered really well. If you want to bring business out from the OTAs, make sure that what you do on your website shines brighter, and it very rarely does. So get your website in order. That's top tip.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the website of a hotel, especially a bigger hotel, I mean, you have a huge opportunity there to collect guest data, and then make that into either a series of emails that you send them, or personalize it with something that kind of converts them to this hotel does something different than any hotel that I've ever stayed at. So if they land on your page because of your ad, I mean, this goes far. We can go deep in this. I could talk about this all day because I love this stuff. You could go post to post. They could find you on social media. They find you on a Google ad. They kind of opt into like a free guide on your website, 10 things to do in Ireland while you're 10 places to visit, right? They download this PDF. Now you have their email address. Now you have their name. You can send them on a journey on an email that they're planning out for their vacation next summer or whatever. Then you understand what they're looking for. You personalize it with all this stuff that you collected as their journey goes, and then you convert them into a long-term guest or even a loyal guest with a brand or with a loyalty program. I think this digitalization of the journey goes far into not just on your property where you can text them and have a great journey within the property, within the state, but I think it can go as far as months and even a year out as people are traveling and planning their travels for like 2021 and beyond. I think people are now even planning for events for the end of the year next year. This is an opportunity for you to come on and have a CRM or have something that can connect your email list or this group that this content that you have of maybe their favorite stuff that they loved at your hotel and remarket to them. I love this part about the hotel space as far as marketing. So no, I definitely appreciate the digitalization of the guest journey. Ladies, this has been super helpful. Any last comments?
Oh God,
we're gonna go through it. That's fine.
I have one last comment regarding Del's comment regarding how can hotels protect themselves from bad pricing decisions. And I would say if you believe in your forecast, if you can forecast for every single day and have a really steady pricing strategy, then you'll find that people that your competitors around you will stop reacting to your pricing decisions and the market will stabilize somewhat. So basically get as many reservations in as early as possible, and don't be terrified by your competitor dumping their rates close to arrival, because all that will happen is all of the bookings that they have already will be cancelled and rebooked by the same guests at the lower rate. So it's really keeping a really, really clear head about what you're doing. versus your competitors. So don't follow your competitors.
Yeah, especially when you have especially when you have better reviews, especially when you have a better location, especially when you have better service, right? I love that you can have the upper hand and show a lot of value just through all these other channels instead of just rate. And I think a lot of hotels are like, oh, we have to be the lowest in the market. No, people are looking at a lot of things. It's the Amazon effect, I feel like, when even if it's a lower rate on Amazon or price of an item, I will usually go with the one that has the most reviews that are pretty decent compared to just 1 or 2 reviews that are 5-star from a seller, right, on Amazon. I look at that same mindset when I'm booking a hotel room, and I think a guest are too. Do you guys kind of connect those two when you're looking at rates and when you're kind of putting a strategy in place?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially now with the reassurance you need from the hygiene and like if you can't trust the price, then you're not going to trust the experience.
Absolutely. All right, well, ladies, this has been a pleasure. Somebody please explain how they can watch your show every week. It's Wednesdays at 1 p.m. What time zone is that in?
So it's 1 p.m. EST, which is British Standard Time, which means it's 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, or 8 a.m. Sorry, Eastern Time. We are on LinkedIn. You can follow us at WHTT, which is Women in Hospitality Travel Tech, and also at Revenue Hacks. #Revenue Hacks on everything. We're on all social media. You get to see what we get up to before the show, and even in our private lives as well. Like Olga's a superstar for running. Suzanne is like a super mom. So, you know, we're always running around the country. B is sitting in France at the moment. It's great. So you get to see kind of that we have lives outside of, you know, our regular jobs.
Yeah, and I love that all of you guys are authentic to what you really believe in as far as you're a hotelier or a hotelier, like we call it here in America, or just a hotel operator or supporting the industry. But yeah, I just started connecting with a lot of you on Instagram. I see that you're passionate about, like Olga's passionate about running, and that's awesome, right? And I think we all need that when we're not just focused on business in general, but we're focused on having a balanced life. And I think that's important, especially right now where, you know, I love that women in hospitality, and I posted this last week. 95% of my hotels are run by women. Congratulations to you guys, right? You guys, and I've learned so much from the GMs and the leaders at our hotels. They've taught me compassion. They've taught me how to think clearly. They've taught me a lot of these mindsets that maybe I wouldn't have learned otherwise, and I appreciate that. So I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you, and maybe come on to your show here soon, and excited to share some marketing tips of some customer service strategies. Happy about that. But thank you so much for coming on. And guys, before you guys leave, the person, and I think you guys will all agree, the person with the most comments here is Peggy Godfrey. She's been asking and posting and being really engaging on this live show. So congratulations, Peggy. You just won a $50 gift card to smartguests.com. Ladies, it was a pleasure speaking with you, and I'm so happy that you were able to come onto the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and happy 1 year anniversary.
Next week is 1 year. I can't let me put Suzanne back on. Thank you, Suzanne. I was just saying thank you so much for joining me on the show here. I'm sure a bunch of people, and guys, thank you so much to the winner. A bunch of people really appreciated all the comments and all the tips and strategies and hacks that you gave us. I have a list of stuff that I'm going to be looking at and talking to our team about, and I'm sure our viewers are too. Thank you so much for being here on the show. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
See ya. All right, guys, what did you guys think about that episode? Congratulations to Peggy. I'm excited about you. You've always been an amazing viewer on this show. Guys, if you want to watch past episodes, please hit my YouTube channel up at youtube.com/Rupesh Live. There you'll be able to see at least 40 or 50 episodes, past episodes of amazing hotel people like these ladies that were on the show today, and learn some ideas and strategies that could help boost your business, help you grow as a person. I love that part about the business, that we continue growing as individuals and mindset, that we keep growing as, and then grow our team too. That's not just about us, it's about our entire team. Guys, thank you so much. Like I alluded earlier, next week on the show is talking about your budgets, right? Budget season's coming up next week or the next couple of weeks or the next month. You have to come up with something. We're going to teach you how to actually put a budget together for next year, 2021 and beyond, and how to think clearly when we're talking about budgets, and how to differentiate what you need to add and include or delete out of your budget. We'll talk about that next week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button if you loved this episode. I did. I wish I had the like button that I can hit like on it. Thank you so much to these ladies. I'll talk to you guys next week. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. Stay well.